45% of the youth in South Africa is unemployed. 45% of the youth in South Africa is unemployed. Africa has the largest youth population in the world. What is that 45% doing?
That's the question. Welcome to The Construct. Welcome to yet another episode. Welcome to the best construction channel in the land. Welcome to South Africa, our land. We speak about the youth, and it's such a pressing topic to speak about. But it's just a statistic when you're not part of it. It's just that. But when we live in a place where we are that 45% of incapacitated youth, then we start thinking about all those conversations that are happening and all of those conversations that are happening in rooms that we are not a part of. And this is what this conversation is about. The dying need to be awarded. Sometimes we get to a point where we feel like we want to be awarded those projects. You have already done your CIDB, you've already done all of the things that you feel like you need to do, like now, South Africa is so quick in opening a business, and we want those opportunities, and then you get to the end and there's nothing. You get to the end and there's literally nothing. There's just like a buzzing noise of just, what do I do and where do I go from here? That's what we want. I think our focus going into 2025 should not be how quickly we are able to open the companies in South Africa. It's the resources and the capacity and the capabilities. Do we have those in order to be able to turn those resources into opportunities? Where are the financial resources that we need? I always say this, like, you can't say that you are creating entrepreneurs within a certain market if you are not going to give them the financial backing that they need in order to turn those visions into realities. There are people that that are talented in terms of going into the built environment, and there are people that are business minded, and there are people that are just looking for resources. And once we are able to define the different type of entrepreneurs that we find within the built environments, then we are able to create solutions that will be able to meet their dying needs at that point in time. But those things can't happen if we don't understand what their needs are. And that won't happen if the youth is not vocal about what they need. So it's important for us to be able to articulate our frustrations in ways that are not detrimental. Because at the end of the point, we still ask that question of 45% of the youth are unemployed. What are they doing? There aren't a lot of things that we can say in terms of the desperation that we feel in the streets, the desperation that we feel in our DMs, the desperation that we see on social media. But the problem is that same desperation does not translate in the workplace. And I'm not saying that this is like credit to a lot of the youth and especially the 2000s, where we speak about they are desperate to get the work, but are not desperate to keep it. And I say this because I've dabbled in a couple of contracts with a couple of young folks, and it has its fair challenges. And I feel like as my generation is better equipped to understand the 2000s more than the generations before us. And I say this because, like when I was in corporate, I used to feel like, oh my God, like I was like this radical, like I was the youth and I was radical. And I was just like, and now that I think about it, I'm just like, I don't do fuck all. Like, in terms of what these guys do, like these guys are on another level. It's interesting, it's lovely. It's just like, where do you get the balls? And it's just like a silent clap, but also when we think about it, we also have that modesty of wanting to keep your job. Like we actually want to keep our jobs. So it's actually like it's a catch-22. This thing, we're inspired by them, but also like the lack of commitment is alarming. I'm gonna keep it there for the ones that I have dealt with. So today I want to speak about the dying to be awarded, and like this is based on like a couple of DMs where like I've been speaking to a couple of girls, a couple of guys that have that I consider as like my mentees, where we speak about like the industry, and like I have like there are certain DMs that catch me and they start conversations, and I kind of find myself in a mentoring position, and I don't mind that. I love that. But that I always have to be intrigued by something. You can't just come to me and say I want to be mentored on what have you done. Like I'm constantly all about that, on the tip of while other things are happening within like the market and just our planet in a whole, and our market, and like you being that that one piece that is at the beginning, and understanding that like one piece plus 10 equals a community. I think there are so many things that we don't think about when it comes to the youth and us being able to build communities that have a voice. We've got like better mediums to get the things that we want to get across. We don't have to be paying. I remember there was a point where like if you want to market yourself like nicely and like get like maximum reach, you had to be paying like in the 100,000s. Now you just have social media and you can go viral. So I think the catch-22 about it is that like resources are scarce, no opportunities are scarce, but the resources are plenty. So I think sometimes in adverse situations like the situation that we find ourselves in now, we have to be showing initiative, and that desperation that we feel from the lack of opportunities has to prevail in how we use our resources, has to be translated in the way that we use our resources, even like no matter how little they are. I think the one thing about like the way that we live now and social media is that you can put out anything that you want, but also be careful of what you consume. That's actually another topic on its own, about like people who go onto the internet. And the thing is now, like I can't be bashing those people because I'm also people on the internet that is just like putting things out. But it's just like you also need to, the people that you listen to on the internet and the people that you follow on the internet have to have some sort of backing. You can't be like approaching any Tom, Dick, and Chabulani just for the sake that they have 25,000 followers or 100,000 followers. Like that doesn't necessarily mean that they're legit. It's very important for us as the youth to not be gullible by people who do really good marketing gimmicks, but also people who present themselves in a very good light in terms of their brand. All brands have to be backed up by something, and we can all market ourselves, but like what's evidence-based marketing is very important, especially for the people that you want to entrust with your business and just your way of thinking. So it's important for you to be very careful about that. But like in everything that we speak about in terms of just the youth and our perception of things, in as much as we are not getting to the point where we want to get fast enough, I think we need to start thinking about things, like when we speak about like businesses and stuff. Like when I speak about, like the young entrepreneurs, when they think about business, they think about, like this business that is going to make you millions now and you're going to be rich now. And I know that because of, like where we are in the world and how fast technology is, like there are opportunities of being an instant a millionaire and being that guy that was just, like from humble beginnings and 2 days later, like you are this hot sensation. But also we are not showcasing enough, like building the bricks, like putting each brick in and knowing that you're not just because you've got the plans approved for the house does not mean that the house is already built. Like, and there are so many components to building that house, and there's so many components to making that house a home. So there are so many stages that sometimes I feel like, because of social media, we feel like we are missing, not we feel, but we miss out on the social skills, the skills that are going to make you a better person, to be able to carry the load that we are going to carry, like the maturity to be able to make the decisions that are right for businesses that are going to be built long term, the maturity to be able to make sound financial decisions without being swayed by perception, the understanding of the market and understanding that, like the valleys are not always the valleys and the hills are not always the hills. So in all of that, it has to be a balance. But the nice thing is that the opportunity is there. The opportunity is in community. I think it's one of the things that I'm really passionate about, in terms of just that community where we are creating a voice, a cohesive voice that is based on fact, resource, impact, understanding, and that desperation. That desperation that says 45% of us right now are not capacitated with the right resources in order to be the best that we can be. And that is the reason why we are creating those communities. That desperation to get awarded is not because you want to be an instant millionaire, which sometimes people, like some of the youth who feel like, okay, I really want to hit my break, but that desperation is just to intake. You get to a certain level of your life where you feel like, you want to be part of the system now. Like, you want to be making those mistakes. You want to be correcting those mistakes. You want to be moving within the whole system, and you want to understand it. And that's what we essentially want. But the nice thing is that we also have different gateways of which we can access this market. And the conversations need to be now where we are teachable, which is very important. We, in as much as we want to be innovative, we want to be, we want to be disruptive. Like now there's this word that goes around. It's just like everyone wants to be disruptive. Like everyone just, I want to be the disruptor. And it's just like, you can't disrupt things you don't understand. You can't just be just disrupting. Now that is just literal disruption, where you're just causing a noise about things and systems that you don't understand. The true disruptors are disruptors are the ones that go into, and I always say this: you can't change the system from the outside. You have to come in it and blow it up, and that's the point. And that's where I want us to get to a point where we are aligning resources, especially in a year like 2025, where we have a little. I'm not saying that we have a lot. We have a little to go by, and we have a lot to give. So in terms of just how we want to meet each other halfway, I think we want to be part of the conversations that matter. We want to sometimes sit back and just listen. I think sometimes as the youth coming into rooms, in as much as we do have a say, but more of the time we need to be listening. We have to be teachable. I will always be saying this because my encounters have just, been, everyone wants to just be an instant CEO and make decisions. You can't make decisions on things you don't understand. You can make new inventions, great, and control that. but we have to find a space where we are able to be teachable in order to be able to invent. And every new circumstance, or whichever new platform that you get, needs a little bit of retrospect to understand where we're going in terms of the future. So it's important for us to think about things like that. That's all I have for this video. Welcome to the best construction channel in the land. I'm really excited about this year, as I'm saying, and that's why I want to be hitting out these topics of things that I genuinely want to be speaking about: young contractors, SMMEs, understanding the different stakeholders, the technologists, the engineers, the architects, understanding their perspective, understanding leadership and how to transfer those skills, understanding the youth and how they can be teachable and be innovative in the same space, being in corporates that understand our visions and understand where we're trying to get, being in corporates that feed our visions and understand the type of people that we are. So those are the type of things that we want to be speaking about here in the construct. Until the next episode, I'm so grateful that you're here. For those that don't know me, my name is Upili Legon Mpemba, and I will see you next time.